What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop, and it is another Tech Tip Sunday, and I'm back in the shop. We haven't had a tech tip in a few weeks. For the month of February, I only get like 3 or 4 days off for the whole month. It's just been so many events I'm doing. I'm having to work extra shifts, extra days, long days. It's glad to be back with you. I knew we hadn't done this in a while, so I wanted to just do one in the shop here today before we open up. And working so much lately, I have seen some stuff. You know how I've always preached in the past, there are some things you should be doing yourself. There are some things, ladies, specifically ladies, stop letting your husband do. If your husband is not a handy guy, don't let him touch your vehicle. If you take your car in to me and I recommend something, and like you call your husband and he goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do that. Just don't buy that. Well, two things are going to happen. One, he's never going to do it ever. It just, and you come see me again the next time and it still hasn't been done and it's getting worse. Or B, two, he doesn't know how to do it because he doesn't know how to do anything around the house. And that's not a problem. There are things I don't know how to do and I pay someone to do it because I don't want to mess something up. So if your husband says, I think I can do that, or I'm pretty sure I can do that, ladies, you know your husband long enough. You know he's either going to buy a tool that costs more money. You know, I know guys out there, Kevin, shut up. Because I have done that. I have bought a tool where I could have paid someone, but then I have that tool. So we'll get right to it. Cabin air filter. Young lady needs a cabin air filter. Call her. I think I can do that. Don't buy that. Vehicle comes in a couple days later. My car is making this god-awful noise inside. So I go out there, parking lot, and then hearing it, and I'm like, wow. I go, that is weird. It's definitely coming from the air conditioning system somewhere. And she goes, you recommended a cabin air filter. My husband replaced it. Is there something he could have done? So I'm like, all right, let's just check. You know, I popped down the other glove box. She was watching, I was showing her, pulled the filter out, and then there was like a twig in there, and then I pulled it out, and then I'm shining my light, and I'm like, yeah, there a lot of debris. You know, he pulled it off, scraped it all off, and everything fell into the blower motor. And I go, unfortunately, there's so much in there, I'm going to have to drop the blower motor, clean it all out, put it back in. I said, luckily, no damage done. There's no parts needed. It'll just be labor. And she goes, okay, comes back inside. You know, and it wasn't bad, $60 or so labor, fairly easy one. But she was just irritated. And, you know, I wanted to say, how much did you save? Because if you'd have had me do it, this wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have had to make a second trip. And then we wouldn't be here today. Yeah, she was a little irritated. We got her on her way. Next one, just a regular engine air filter, vehicle towed in. We recommended an air filter and a bunch of other maintenance on there. Husband declined. Wife was here, husband declined. I can do all that myself. Okay. Car comes back in. That one was a simple one. We didn't charge her anything. Pop the hood, running real bad. And, manifold, map sensor. God, why couldn't I, think of that? Just unplugged. You know, he went to take the air filter box out, unplugged it, and then forgot to plug it back in, running like poop. And if he'd have just run it for a little bit longer, the car would have learned and they could have just drove it up here, but it is what it is. They didn't know. But so I plugged it back in, code scan, reset everything. It was good to go. But, you know, they didn't pay for the tow either, but that was that whole process. You know how long it takes to get a tow truck. You're waiting around, towing it in here. For me just to plug something back in and then send you on your way. So luckily that one, no cost involved other than time. And, you know, husbands, I say, you're never going to live this down. That's another one. You're never going to live this down. From here on out, anytime anything ever happens, you know, like, oh, I can do that. Can you? Just like that cabin air filter, I'm going to pay Kevin to do it. Oh, I can fix that toilet. Just like you fix that cabin air filter, I'm going to call a plumber. I'm not too proud to admit when I can't do something. I will, like, if I have to hire a plumber, I will watch him. I will ask questions. And then maybe next time I will do that. Same with electricity. Same with the other things that I can't do, and I'm not too proud to it. Now, there are things, lots of things, because I am mechanically inclined, that I can watch YouTube videos many times. Like, I can tackle that project myself. I'm sure of it. And then there are times, like on plumbing, I had a faucet, but then I had that cartridge stuck. And what a nightmare, finding the tool, heating it up. And it was just, a plumber would have had that. It took me 2 days. A plumber would have taken, an hour. So, but I got it done because I knew I could do it, because I kind of knew that going into that job, what the possibilities could be. Brakes. Yeah, me and my buddy will do that. And then they come back squeaking. And then I got to tear everything apart, figure out what's going on. Oh, they didn't use any grease here and there. So it's in the shop for a couple of hours, and it's a small charge for me to tear everything apart, re-grease everything. Or, the husband decides to pad slap it. Well, that's where you just put pads on, don't turn the rotors, and then it comes back squeaking. And then there's nothing you can do. I got to replace the pads again. Brake pads have a small, several micron coating on the brake pads that needs to be transferred to the new rotor, or a freshly machined rotor. That'll help bed in and lock those pieces together. It helps prevent squeaking. So when your husband pad slaps it himself, doesn't do the job the right way, I have to replace the pads again. And that's just an added cost, added time, and all that. It's just, sometimes it's just not worth it to do the job yourself. If you don't have all the tools, if you don't have the knowledge, I'm not saying don't tackle these jobs. These are a lot of jobs you can tackle. Just know that there are things that could happen. And if they do, and it sucks because you got to have the car towed in, it just, I don't know. Sometimes it's just not worth the time to, I can mow my own grass. I don't, because I pay someone. I pay my neighbor to do it. A couple houses down, Chris does a good job. Doesn't charge me very much. Charges me more than what I would do it for myself for free, but my time is worth money. So when you're looking at repairs on your vehicle, your time is worth money. Like a pair of wiper blade, you can put a pair of wiper blades on, and if it saves you $20 or $30, that's a lot of money for such a quick job, a quick savings. Cabin air filters, that should be a quick job where you can save yourself money. But if you're not 100% sure, especially behind the glove box, they have all these latches now. They have these cables, these strings, these little hydraulic things that keep the glove box so it closes real slowly. You mess something up in there. It just, air filters, unplugging shit. It's getting more and more technologically advanced to where, it's almost just not worth doing yourself. It's just worth paying somebody to do the job. And this is when we talked about this maybe a month or so ago. Make sure you're asking for discounts on some of these services. Cabin air filter, and air filter, there's never a labor charge on an air filter. Cabin air filter, there's a labor charge on the cabin air filter. So when this is a secret, phone's ringing already. When I bring you your cabin air filter, I already took it out. Ask for a labor discount. I'm like, hey, you already have it out. You gonna charge me labor? Because you already have it out. So that's kind of a workaround that we will, like, all right, I'll cut you a pretty good break. So you shouldn't be paying full price for anything. You should always be asking for discounts. All right, we're not even open yet. That's why I'm not answering it. Nobody else is here in the shop. All right, cats and kittens, we'll see you next week.